Cultural Center, and then 2016 at the Ramon Aboitiz Foundation. And this year, it's of course at the University of San Carlos. So sila gid mismo ang natagaan of privilege the students of USC to sit down and listen to the different candidates.
And also, this is a reason for me because if not without the forum, di ko kasunod ng USC campus.
Ah, really?
Considering that I've been in Cebu for the past 30 years of my life.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, we will, of course, be, and this is the only COMELEC-sanctioned forum. It's, of course, our honor to have here with us
The election officer 4 assigned the office of the Provincial Election Supervisor. Please welcome from COMELEC 7, Attorney Ferdinand Gohilde.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Carol and Sir Dante. I can never forget that iconic voice. Good afternoon, Carolinian community. Yes, today we have another batch for the Senatorial Candidates Forum, and we're so thankful for Mega Cebu and all the other organizers for making this event possible. And for our senatorial candidates, welcome to Cebu. And this is a very concrete step towards uplifting the level of debate and discourse insofar as elections is concerned. And you are at the University of San Carlos, the premier university in the South, and probably one of the best schools in the entire country. And our students here are known for being independent-minded. They are critical-minded, and please expect that they're going to ask you very incisive questions later on. And these are the students that cannot be swayed by surveys. These are students that do not vote according to name recall. They vote according to their conscience, according to the platform of government that the candidates can offer. So we are at the right place insofar as uplifting the level of public debate and discourse insofar as elections is concerned. And also, this is a multi-sectoral candidates forum, and I think Ma'am Carol said that this is sanctioned by the COMELEC, because we have invited all candidates for senators, and we did not have any preferential option for any candidates. So we gave everybody equal chance and equal opportunity to be here. We invited everybody. And this is non-partisan. We're not endorsing any candidate. We're just giving them the opportunity to be here and speak with the Carolinian community. That being said, thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so I would like to also say, because they invited all the candidates, many were called, but few chose to come. Yes, only those who chose to come really would like people to know more about them. So it's to their advantage. Ang wa mo tubag sa invitation, ilahatong kanang loss.
Actually, may confirm pero wala ka-are, no? For some reasons, like the bump off a flight, what do you call this? Delayed a flight. In fact, last week, the other week, we had 2 who confirmed, but they weren't able to make it because they came in very, very late. Plus the traffic from Mactan Airport to Cebu City, it's terrible. So wala sila ka-are.
Yes. I would like to talk about that bugsay over there. I'm sure you all saw that. Okay. That's not para paddle, para hazing, okay? That bugsay actually is our icon in Mega Cebu. He will, if you can read, kay na mura kag fisherman Dante. Angayan kay ka-dance. Okay. Okay. So anyways, Mega Cebu's icon is this bugsay. Not because Cebu is an island and that we are an archipelago, but simply because our logo stands for says our vision says making waves. And the waves stand for wholesome, advanced, vibrant, equitable, and sustainable. The Mega Cebu program aims to have that kind of a Cebu in the future for you, the young generation. And why bugsay? Because if everybody gets on the boat and holds his bugsay and paddles in the same direction together in harmony, like Dragon Boat, you will get to your destination faster. dili ka mo lingkod, magsukwahi po ka og bugsay, wa gi mo maabtan, okay? This is a philosophy espoused, championed by Mr. Bobby Aboy, the late Bobby Aboitis, one of the pillars of the Mega Cebu program.
Actually, dili man ka bugsay to the right and the others to the left, so wala, you cannot reach your destination with that kind of, movement. So kinahanglan synchronization, one direction, so that we'll get to our destination fast and easy.
Yes,
correct? Okay.
and we have this because all of our senatorial candidates, and of course the party list, and soon the those running for mayor, vice mayor, governor, and vice governor, and congressman, we will have them sign this to signify their commitment to the Cebuano public in general, okay? The Metro Cebu public in particular. Nga ang ilang saad ilag yung tumanon that they would have palabra de honor.
Napuno na og signature during side. So then he is still empty. So this is reserved for our next candidate. And this area here also, they can sign, they can put their signature right here.
Yes.
There is a handle. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the mechanics, the guidelines for the forum.
Problem with this. Okay.
Napisod ka.
All right. Thank you.
All right. In every forum, we always have this at the beginning para walay problema. Although we almost had a problem. We did have a little bit of a problem on our third session. Okay. And thankfully, Katura, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a very peaceful discussion. Let's all agree to disagree agreeably.
Wala nga Klarohay Ta. So atong klarohon ang guidelines and rules of the forum para next time og na ay, similar incident that happened just like what we had weeks ago, maklaro. So for the Candidates Forum mechanics and guidelines, we have the chairman of the Department of the Political Science School of Law and Governance of the University of San Carlos, Ms. Brenette Abrenica.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There are empty seats, but we have a whole bunch of audience online. And I think that's the power of the Cebuano population. We are 3.2 million voters in this part of the country, and we are a force to reckon with. And as already stated by our COMELEC representative, we are intelligent, and we actually discern who to vote and why we vote for them. And in order to facilitate our discussion this afternoon with our invited candidates, we will have to announce publicly the ground rules and mechanics for candidates as well as our audience. First off, for our candidates, the forum shall provide a platform for both candidates and voters to engage with each other in order to guide the discernment of the voters for the choice of their candidates in the May 13, 2019 midterm elections. This is not a debate, the typical Oxford-Oregon debate. However, you will be exchanging your ideas. The format will not tolerate grandstanding and overexposure of selected candidates as provided in COMELEC rules. Second, candidates must address the question, what can you, sir, offer to Cebu Province in general and Metro Cebu in particular as Cebu in general experience urbanization? So this is a context that represents many other areas, pockets in the entire country, and urbanization is a very real issue. Third, campaign videos and banners will not be allowed in the forum. Only a 5-slide PowerPoint presentation is allowed, and only if it is aligned with a candidate's message or answer during the opening remarks or opening message and the facilitated discussion. Fourth, candidates, be mindful of your time allocation. All candidates must strictly follow the allotted time per segment. Opening and closing messages are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per candidate. The hosts will provide a cue for your time allocation during the facilitated discussion and the interaction time with the audience. However, an electronic timer will guide each speaker for this purpose. So before you start speaking, kindly gaze on the monitor for the time. Number 5, no candidate is allowed to use foul language in both main speech and responses. A candidate who violates this rule will be reprimanded. If the offense is repeated after the reprimand, the candidate will be politely asked to leave the forum. I'd like to underscore that. Politely asked to leave the forum. Number 6, candidates are instructed to engage with each other with respect and dignity. Speakers are not allowed to use insults and damaging insinuations against each other, especially if it can trigger heated discussions. And lastly, a limited number of campaign supporters may join the delegation of the candidate, but they're not allowed to openly campaign or loiter in any part of the campus because we have a standing policy from the SBD administration for no open campaigning. Rules and mechanics for participants and audience. First, we have a multi-stakeholder audience from the academe that includes educators, students, staff, labor sector, transport group, urban poor, women, agriculture, among others. As stakeholders, our primary question to each candidate is what can you do for Cebu Province in general and Metro Cebu in particular? One of the reasons why we co-organize this particular series of forum is because we believe in the kind of question that we are raising. We're raising a contextualized question. Now we're not only teaching candidates, we're also teaching our voters to vote based on where you come from and to raise questions that can affect your choice of candidates who can in turn affect policies that they will have for you and for your context. Number 3, to ensure that issues from all sectors are tackled, questions from the audience may be written in sheets of paper handed out by our ushers. So we have ushers around. Questions will be checked and finalized by the screening committee. This is for the reason that we don't want to have duplicate questions or we don't want to overemphasize one issue over the others. No foul language will be tolerated from the participants or audience in their questions or random comments. Ushers will approach violators at their seats to reprimand them. But same with candidates, after the reprimand, if repeated, they will be asked to leave the forum politely. Noise will not be allowed for the entire duration of the forum. Those who disturb the session will be reprimanded and may also be asked to leave the hall as needed. With that being said, we hope that our engagement this afternoon will be a fruitful exchange of ideas, leading us to more discernment for an honest, clean elections coming May 13, 2019. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, si Ma'am Brunette, she was my co-host last forum last Monday. And she did really well.
Of course, yeah.
Na siya fallback na career. Pwede na siya mag-anchor after this.
You know, we do a lot of multitasking even here.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, for your post on social media, the hashtag to use is hashtag Mega Cebu Klarohay Ta or hashtag Mega Cebu Candidates Forum 2019.
And incidentally, our forum is now, you can watch it live sa Mega Cebu FB page. And at the same time, this will be aired and replayed every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. MyTV Cebu, channel 30 on Sky Cable from 12 noon to 1:30 in the afternoon. And people, speaking of voting population, Carl.
Right. The reason why we were saying ba sayang kay ubang kandidatong wa mo tunga because actually Cebu is one of the big, if not the biggest, no, in terms of voting population. We have 3.2 million voters in Cebu, and of which 84% voter turnout.
Actually, it's 84.95
so
in
almost
2016. A high voter turnout historically, and this includes highly urbanized cities of Cebu and Lapu-Lapu. So, a number of voters grew by over 300,000 from the last 2016 presidential election.
Yes, and all of these, according to COMELEC, these are really legit nga voters, dili flying voters.
Correct. And the breakdown of current voting population, Cebu City, we have 709,608. In Mandaue, we have 226,091. And Lapu-Lapu City, we have 214,117.
Okay, so let's get the forum started. We'll introduce to you now our last privileged batch of candidates for senator. Okay? First, from the KKK Katipunan ng Kamalayang Kayumanggi Party, Attorney Ernesto Arellano.
Hi, sir. Join us here on stage. And then, the second, we have from Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino or KDP, Mr. Edmundo Vicente Casiño.
And last but not the least, also from KDP, the Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino, Attorney Glenn Ang Chong.
Gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to our Candidates Forum.
I'd like to ask, all of you, sir, do you understand Cebuano or are we gonna speak in Tagalog? So, Tagalog kayo po? Ikaw rin po?
Gamay.
Si
Gamay.
Glenn, I think, is Cebuano.
Cebuano,
In
okay.
fact, he's a product of San Carlos.
Oh, really? Okay. So, that's good then. We're going to start, actually, lingaw kay kuning KKK. This is the third KKK that I know with a different meaning. Do you know the other two, Dante? The first that I diba is the kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangang Katipunan, the KKK. And the second is the Kilosang Kabuhayan at Kaunlaran. And then this is the third.
You got me there.
Okay. Anyways, trivia. Let's now go to the opening statements. Each of you, sir, are given 3 minutes. You may stand, you may use the podium, you may walk around if you want, all in 3 minutes.
Sir,
We'll
may
start with
microphone
you.
po kayo dyan sa likod, sir. Yan.
Sir, your microphone.
Okay. Ayaw po.
Ako si Attorney Ernesto Arellano, nominadong kandidato ng Katipunan Party, number 11 sa balota ng COMELEC. Ako'y tubo ng Ilocandia, Nagilian, La Union. Bago akong naging abogado, ako'y naging guro ng University of the Cordilleras at saka Philippine Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Nang ako'y naging abogado, pinili ko na maging abogado ng mga manggagawa at maralita. At sa loob ng 50 taon na ako'y naglingkod sa mga manggagawa, na aking napagmasdan, na kahirapan o poverty ang hindi mawala-walang partner ng mga manggagawa. Sa kabila na sila ay very productive at sa kabila na ang mga employers nila ay kabilang sa pinakamayamang 50 na Pinoy at hindi lamang sa Pilipinas, kung hindi sa buong daigdig, ay sila ay kulang ng kanilang sahod at kung meron silang trabaho ay wala silang seguridad ng trabaho. Ito ay sa kabila na merong constitutional mandate na sila ang dapat mabigyan ng kaukulang katumbas ng kanilang contribution sa production. Sa ligang batas, sinasabi nila, they are entitled to a living wage and security of tenure. Pero sa habang ng panahon na ito, hindi ko pa nakita na ang minimum wage ay sapat para sa isang buhay na disente. Ang aming opisina ay nagtataglay din ng advokasya para sa mga informal settlers at mga magsasaka. Natuklasan namin sa panahon na ito na mayaman naman ang bansa. Pero sa kabila nito ay marami sa ating kababayan mahirap at kapuspalan. Ito ay dahil ang legislation ay bilanggo ng mga ilan na mayayaman sa Pilipinas o ang tinatawag natin na oligarchy. Pangalawa, ang legislative process ay bilanggo rin ng political dynasties. Kaya ako'y lumaok sa electoral exercise na ito para ayusin ang kakulangan na ito.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our next candidate, we have from Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino, Mr. Edmundo Vicente Casiño.
Mayong hapon. I'm Tote Casiño, member of the Katipunan Demokratikong Pilipino. We're a newly established political party. We're a party of principles, not of convenience. We are a party of ideas, not of personality. And our campaign program is we would like to stop electoral fraud, oust Smartmatic, pursue the perpetrators behind the Dengue Bangsha, which already victimized about 600 or 20,000 innocent children and has already killed or had put to death about 600 young children, and also suspend the EPIRA law or the Electric Power Industry Reform Act and cut electric bills by 50%, because these our electric bills are one of the highest worldwide, considering our per capita income is only 20% of, or rather 1/20th of even the United States of America. Our platform of government for economic policy is to maintain a balanced agro-industrial policy, wherein as a nation we should be able to build our industries in agriculture, particularly like organic farming, high yield, considering that food security is one of the global crises that we are going to face. And considering we have a population that's one of the biggest or fast growing in the rest of the world. And also, our other agenda for foreign policy is to have a collaboration with all the nations, whereby we don't want to have engaged our country into a World War III, but rather to be friends of all nations and enemy of none. With regards to education policy, especially with the introduction of the K-12, our intention is to further strengthen the K-12, because we foresee in the next few years that industrialization, advancing technology such as artificial intelligence, robotics, blockchain, cybersecurity will take heed in engineering. We talk about renewable energy resources. We would like our young children at a very young age to bring down the curriculum that is already on the freshman and sophomore year, be entered in the junior and senior year, and then have our younger children be able to know more about the policies that, I mean, the competency that they would carry with themselves when they enter into the college. And also, with regards to agriculture policy, to strengthen that sector, particularly the fisheries, we have the Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization Act. It's time for it to be revisited and viewed, and because we have not been yielding the proper harvest as well, and we were having overfishing, there's got to be a more sound policy with regards to that. And with regards to social welfare policy, it has to be inclusive. I came here a few years back, and today when I saw Cebu, I still see people around, they're still begging. And that's sad. We have all the natural resources here, we're rich, but we have poor people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our last but not the least, also from KDP, Attorney Glenn Ang Chong.
Maayong hapon sa atong tanan, Sugbo. Ako si Glenn Chong, abogado, certified public accountant. Dinhi ko panganak sa Cebu City. Dinhi ko nagdako, dinhi ko nag-eskwela, dinhi ko nahimong abogado sa University of San Carlos. Ato ni Bay, nahimo kong congressman sa lugar sa akong inahanog amahan sa Biliran. Sa panahon nga wa ko ilhi, Hagikatawaan ko, gibiyay-biyay ko, pero pagkahumanog, eleksyon, ning daog si Glenn Chong isip congressman, ang napildi Deputy Speaker for the Visayas. Napadaog pa na akong tulo ka mayors, upat ka vice mayors, o katunga sa tanan konsehal sa among probinsya. Dito na ko nakita nga may kapasidad ang katawhan mo pili og saktong leader. So akong gisugdan ang saktong pamuno sa among katawhan. Pagsugod na ako niatong 2007, ang pobre sa among lugar, 7 kada napulo. 65% ang poverty incidence, 7 sa kada napulo. Tulo ka tuig milabay, paglakaw na ako sa pwesto, human ko gitikas na ining Smartmatic o Comelec, tulo na lang sa kada napulo ang pobre sa Biliran. Nabaligtad na ako. 7 ang pobre, pagsugod na ako kada napulo. Paglakaw na ako, tulo na lang ang pobre, paglakaw na ako, human sa tulo ka tuig nga milabay lamang. O gamay ra ganang tulo ka tuig, pero katunga, sobra katunga sa pobre, natalwas na ako gikan sa kapobre o kawadon. Human yadto, siyam ka tuig kong nakigbisog para sa atong katawan, para kaninyo, nga wa gani mo kay baho, nga nadi ay glensyong nakigbisog para sa atong katawan, para malimpyo ang atong eleksyon, ug mabalik sa atong mga kamot ang tinuod nga gahom. Ning file ko sa akong Certificate of Candidacy, human ang siyam katuig nga pakigbisog para sa atua, ilan akong gi-offeran kaniadto, makig-istorya ka lang namo, daog ka na sa biliran, pero wa nako dawata ang ilang offer. Siyam katuig kung nakigbisog kaninyo, wa gyud sila gikihan ako, wa sila kaso, nang ipasakan ako, hadlok sila kang glensyong, tinuod lang, hagit na nako sa Smartmatic o sa Comelec. Karon ning file kong Certificate of Candidacy, tungod kay gusto na ko muundang, kapoy na ko kayo. Pero di ko pwede muundang, nga muundang lang og kalit, kay pasanginlan kong gipalit na ako sa Smartmatic. So, ning file kong Certificate of Candidacy as a statement, 2 weeks after I filed my Certificate of Candidacy, gi-kidnap, gi-torture, gi-murder ang akong sinaligan nga gwardya sud sa 12 ka tuig dito sa Cainta Rizal. Si Tinta, kasamad sa tibok lawas niya ang iyang namgo. Sanglit karon, nakigbisog ko, dili lamang para sa tong nasod, kundi para niya. Ipaabot na ako ang akong mensahe kaninyo, anaalang ninyo kung inyong dawaton o inyo kong talikdan. Pero kung inyo kong saligan, andam ko musilbi kaninyo nga malimpyo ang atong eleksyon, mabalik sa atong mga kamot ang gahom pagpili sa atong mga lider. Daghang salamat.
Thank you, Attorney Glenn Ang Chong.
Actually, na-feel na ko ang hurt ni Attorney Chong.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Kanang nahitabo sa iya habang sinaligan ba?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's, you know.
We're so sorry that happened.
Thank you, ma'am.
But I believe in justice. Kung wa man diri sa kalibutan, God is watching. Okay. Anyways, akong pangutana sa ato ang mga kandidato, no, kinsa diri nato ang first timer nga mo run as senator. All of you, sir, are first timers. Ikaw po, sir? Oh, first time. That's good.
The three of them.
Yeah. You know what I really think, Maya Agyud, that when we vote ba, let's try those nga, wa pa bitaw gyud mailhi as kanang senator, kay more fresh ang mga ideas, and dili kay pabalik-balik ka na pabalik-balik simply because kailan na mo ko niya, but wa kay pag nahimo, butaran na gihapon.
In as much as I would like to make a commentary of that, no, but listen mo good, because we're supposed to be non-political, you know, non-partisan here. But, you know, let's try the new ones naman siguro, just for this, because, as you said, you know, basig makahatag sila pagbabago or change.
Yes. Anyways,
eventually.
atong pangutana first. Kumusta naman ang kampanya nato? Where have you been? And pila naman lang pod ka days or weeks left in the campaign? Asa man, let's start with Attorney Arellano.
Kayo po. Kumusta
Sir,
po
kumusta?
ang kampanya?
Nakapunta na kami sa Bicol, sa Baguio, dito sa Central Luzon, and National Capital Region. Wala kami exposure sa media, so ang aming mechanism ay yung mga unions sa amin na organized at mga homeowners association ng mga informal settlers ang aming inaasahan. So wala kami pera, so sila yung nagtatangan ng aming kampanya. So kagabi, nanggaling kami isang araw pala, galing kami sa Pampanga at yung aming local ang nanguna sa community campaign.
Okay.
Sila. So sa kanila kami nagre-rely.
Well, praise God for social media. Sir, ito po ay nasa Facebook Live po tayo. Pwede niyo pong i-share yan sa mga friends ninyo para it will reach sa mga kasuok-suok sa tibuok kasulok-sulukan
ng
sa
Pilipinas.
buong kaharian. Okay.
Okay, dito tayo kay Mr. Casiño naman. Actually, medyo na-insecure ako sa boses.
Murag pareho ay ng boses.
Sir, broadcaster po kayo?
Yeah.
Pareha mong tingog.
Wow,
Pareha mo dance. Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
Being a new party,
No pig ka dance. Go, sige sir.
being a new in this field, what we do is we go on directly to the marketplaces, shake hands talk to the people, pangutanan nila kung saan ilang kinahanlan, kung saan ang buhi nila, ano. And then also mostly we do it by social media. Kasi ang among mga miyembro, tingali, tatanan sila, mga senior citizen. So, amo lang para ma-reach out sa mga
Bisaya day ka, sir?
Ang akong papagikan sa Taguluan, Misamis Oriental.
Amo di ay.
Oo. So, sige lang may mag-istorya sa Facebook o sa mga social media. Pero sige lang kami ito sa mga dito sa Central Luzon, napay sa Bisaya o sa Mindanao. Pero pangatunga-tunga lang, gamay-gamay lang. Dili namin kinakayanan yung mga dako ng mga partido ba? Na sila'y kwarta, na daghan kahayo, kami wala ka kwarta.
Thank you. Kiboka Dance, you know what reminded me? Kanang kita mo sa katong Avengers, no? At Infinity War nga insecure kaayo to si Guardians of the Galaxy guy kang Thor. Parang siya si Thor ni na insecure kay siya.
Ganito na lang, siguro after the election, manalo man o, you know, si Mr. Casiño, let's have a newscast together siguro, sir, one of these days.
Okay.
Maybe television or radio. That would be great.
Okay, let's proceed now. Attorney Chong, kamusta na po?
Kapoy ba kayo, ma'am? Hapit na nako mapildi si Jollibee, si McDonald's, si 7-Eleven o si Mercury Drug kasi sila gising 24 hours, ako 20 hours. Hapit na sila mapildi. Okay. Anyway, ma'am, ang akong core base of supporters are OFWs from North America down to Asia. They're funding my campaign. And then the second one is akong 206,000 followers on Facebook, which is 10 times more active than any other blogger in the Philippines. So I have a reach of about 2 million people. Now the third one I call alternative media. It's not mainstream. It's not social media. But this one, My Story, it's a documentary, 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's all here. So we're distributing this to barangays across the country. So far we have 40,000 DVDs, USBs, and storage cards distributed, and we're reaching hopefully 500,000 of these.
Is that available in YouTube, sir? Pwede ma-share?
Yes, ma'am. Someone put it out on YouTube and on Facebook. There's a portion of this on cheating. The cheating portion where I was testifying, nag-testify ko sa Senate, katong 459 precincts nga nag-transmit na niya tong 2016 elections. One day before the elections, nag-transmit na ang 459 machines. It reached 2.8 million in 8 days. 2.8 million views in 8 days. 151,000 shares.
Ooh.
So what you're saying, sir, is ang kining Smartmatic is not really reliable?
Sir, ma'am, I pointedly accuse them of selling public offices by the millions. Both Comelec and Smartmatic. No one has accused them like that except me. And then, ako yun silang akusaran, point blank. And then, ako silang gihagit. I give you 72 hours. On February 24, ning expire. I give you 72 hours. Face me. Ako lang. Kamong duha. Comelec, Smartmatic.
So what happened to that? After 72
Wala
hours?
silang tubag, sir.
Wala.
Wala silang tubag.
I'm pretty sure nga kanang ang agency itself siguro has integrity, but there are people in the agency nga moonay makadaot sa pangalan gyud sa organisasyon.
If I may answer that point blank, ma'am, 60% of the employees sa Comelec are into the syndicate. 40% lang ang imong masalikan.
I think that's what we need to find out, you know, kay makadaot sa pangalan sa ahensya ang mga tao nga naghimo og dautan. Okay, murag maangin ang tibuok organization.
In fairness, dili man pud tanan.
Yes,
no?
that's why.
You know, kung binuhatan sa uban, madahig man gud tanan. Like,
exactly.
Like if you have bad eggs in the basket.
Maapil ang tanan.
Right.
Okay.
Sige,
anyways, sir, ang among next pangutana is a series of questions that we ask all the other senators. And we also would like to hear it from you. So, the first question is, are you in favor of death penalty? And why or why not? Let's start with Sir Attorney Chong.
I'm in favor of death penalty only for heinous crimes and for drug trafficking. And also in cases where the offender is a person in authority. Like for example, police scalawags. I always go back to my experience kang Richard Santillan because Richard was abducted, tortured, and murdered by 19 police officers. Police officer ang nagbuhat ani. Dinhi sa video, makita ninyo, nakuhaan og video sa mga witnesses. Ingon sila, nakigpinusilay si Richard Santillan sa pulis. But makita ninyo akong sakyanan, nagbuto-buto ang pusil, pero ang mga pulis nagtuyok-tuyok lang sa akong sakyanan. These scalawags must answer. Nag-file na kong kaso sa duha ka police generals, 2 ka colonels for obstruction of justice. I want to show to them, ay Pilipino, mubarog sa inyo, bisan pagpila ka star ang nasa inyong habaga, mubarog ko para sa katawhan. So, that's why based on this experience, I support the death penalty on these conditions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
What about you, Sir Casiño?
We are in favor of death penalty on the high level, particularly, let's say, the plunderers, the senators and congressmen who are caught guilty of plundering the national coffers. They should be subject to death penalty. Also, the drug lords. We also are against. We would like to have them be meted with the death penalty. But for the lowly people, like the pushers and the users, they need to be given a penalty of like life imprisonment, so that they can be rehabilitated, because they are the victims. They're not really the thieves or the culprits. The culprits are the ones behind it, the mastermind. Also, probably. Heinous crimes like statutory rape and murder, they'd also be subjected to death penalty. But the other high level of crimes, especially for the poor, would be best served with the life punishment.
Okay, thank you.
Attorney Arellano.
I don't believe in death penalty. Life is a God-given gift to us, and we do not have any right under any circumstances to take that, especially on the part of the state, to take the lives of people. Man by nature is good. It is society that has corrupted life, and therefore it is the task of the state to provide measures, not to destroy life.
Thank you,
Life
sir.
is something to preserve, and that is the obligation of the state and all its agencies to preserve life.
Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Next question. Are you in favor of federalism and charter change? Let's start with Sir Casiño.
It's a rather an opportune time to look into this, because we already have two comparison. We have a parliamentary government from the 1973 to 1986, and we also now have a bicameral type of a government from 1987 to the present, and we can see the differences of these two these two forms of government. Now, with regards to federalism, there are plus and minuses. We can say that there are some instances that it might lead to a sub-state that would create secessionists, and we might have broken small pieces of our nations within our country, and that might lead to a civil war. So it will be subject for further study. We would like to know the extent and authority granted to the federal state, given especially the taxing power and the power on the judicial, as well as the policies in security. So these things has to be studied thoroughly.
Attorney Chong?
Glenn?
With respect, sir, ma'am, to charter change, I think our constitution, there are provisions there that needs to be changed, especially with respect to investments, because I really want to make our economy grow faster. I'm not contented with 6% economic growth. We can grow faster. We can uplift more lives of our poor brethren by focusing on increasing our investments and increase our economic growth faster. With respect to federalism, I support federalism. Bata pa ko, saba na kay Silito Osmeña, ana. Gusto siya magtukod og Republic of Cebu, which I actually support. But I have two reservations. I have one reservation. First is, more ni siya akong reservation, sir. Kinahanglan there should be only two taxing jurisdictions, the federal and the state governments. No more after that. Kay di ko gusto nga daghan ang taxing jurisdictions, kay malumos in taon ng katawhan sa buwis. And I personally, in principle, don't support additional taxes at this time.
Okay. Attorney Arellano, kayo po, sir.
Katipunan strongly supported federalism via the CONCOM. The strongest argument for federalism is the development plan of Cebu. You do not need a national approval of that plan. It should be the people of Cebu or the regional state that will be created that will approve, push through, and watch the development of that program. In a federal form of government, you are returning the power to the people. for their own development. They have the authority to look for areas of revenues generation, and they will hold on to that for the development of the region. Unlike now, it is over-centralized. Any project in Cebu or in any other region will have to wait for the national approval, and it will take years before the budget for a school building is approved. Therefore, you have to devolve power to the people, especially in the federated regions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Third
Next.
question. What's your stand on the lowering the age of criminal responsibility? Let's start with Attorney Arellano.
I think the legislative body in the Philippines committed an error in lowering the age of criminal responsibility. The primordial reason against that is children or young people of 12 or 15 do not possess the capacity of discernment which should hold them criminally responsible. You do not even give license to people who have not reached 17. Why will you judge them criminally? You are destroying the life of the youth when you will have to hold them criminally responsible, subject them to the traumatic experience of a criminal proceeding when they are 12 years old, when they are 15. The law is still good. It is in the implementation that we lack. We have to rehabilitate life.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Casiño, sir.
The original nature of the law prior to the Pangilinan Amendment was it was already pegged at the age of 9, if I'm not mistaken. But the Pangilinan amended it, it brought it to the age of 16. Now there is a revision to bring it down to 12. So we feel that it's an appropriate time to bring down the criminal liability down to the age 12, because at the age of 13 and towards 18, the youth has already sense of responsibility to be a responsible citizen. Now, not that they should be engaged into the penal institutions, that is more for the adults, but strengthen the juvenile court, strengthen the courts wherein violators from age 12 to 18 will not be imprisoned in the mainstream, but more on an age group that would belong, that they could be rehabilitated and reformed so that they can get back to society and be more productive members of society.
Okay. So in other words, you're in favor.
Yes.
Okay.
Glenn?
Yes, sir. I'm in favor of lowering the age of the minimum age of social responsibility. That's the term the law says. It's not criminal. Social responsibility, thereby focusing on rehabilitation. What I would like to see is that the law be fortified in the sense that those undergoing rehabilitation must be real rehabilitation. The children must be given dignity, and this must be well funded because the purpose is to rehabilitate. Now, what I'm looking at is kinigo mga kabataan nga naa sa sosyedad, they are within reach of the criminals and the syndicates. The more they are outside, the better they are within reach of the criminals. What I'm thinking of is I'd rather put them in rehabilitation centers and get them out of reach of these criminals. That's the way I look at the problem. Get them out of the streets, put them in rehabilitation centers that's well-funded and dignified. In other words, the state gives love and care to these children. I tend to view it that way. And if kumahimo kong senador, muna akong buhaton.
Ang problema masagod ani ba? Experience, we have as kanabang house for street children here actually. And I had a conversation one time with Ma'am Margot Osmeña because siya may murag one of the founders ng Street Children ba sa Cebu.
The Parian Drop-In Center.
Parian Drop-In Center. Isud nilang mga bata at doon sa inahan kuhaon kay ipabeg na pud sa streets. Kausa ko noon naginukdanay ko no sila with a child and a mother kay muna kuhaon na pud kay ipabeg sa streets.
That is the problem. Like one time in Colon, there was a mother using the baby as a prop kay magpakilimos.
They always do that.
You know?
Anyways, we hope that we will really have tinuuray gyud nga ma-implement gyud nga kanang rehabilitation for these kids and really bring them out of the streets.
Can I add
Yes,
something?
yes, of course.
Actually, ma'am, when I was congressman, I was running a school bus system, 14 air-conditioned school buses. Nobody thought it would be done, but I was able to do it. I ferried 7,000 high school students every day from their barangays to school and back. Why bayaran bisan piso? Now, if you really intend to do it, you can do it. That's my example. That if we really want to rehabilitate these children, para di mahimong props sa mga nanay around they can beg, we should get them out, give them education, give them a better future.
Okay.
And what online here is political will, actually.
Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Fourth, what's your stand on the train law? What do you think of the train law? Let's start with Attorney Glenn.
Sir, ma'am, I would like to view the train law as this way. Kung ang atong election system, mura nag-isda, mura nag-karne, nagwaligya sa merkado, ang mga politikong korakot magpinangawat para mobayad aning Smartmatic o Comelec, bawion ang kwarta ang ilang gibayad, gikan sa kaban sa kwartas gobyerno. May lang tagmobaway usa duha tulo ka beses, bawion tapulo ka 20 ka beses, ubos gyud ang kwartas gobyerno. Pagkaubos sa kwartas gobyerno, unsa may gamito, unsa may buhatos gobyerno, magdugang og buwis. Pagdugang og buwis, mosaka ang presyos paraliton. Ang imong kita maura ni. Ning saka ang presyos paraliton, magtikagamay ang imong kwarta mapalit, ang goods mapalit, mahulog ka dito sa kumunoy sa kawadon o kapobre atong balihon. Nganong naglisod man ta karon ning saka ang presyos paraliton, nganong man nagdugang og buwis ang gobyerno, ngano man kay gikawat man ang kwartas gobyerno naubos, ngano man tuwa sa mga kawatan politiko, ngano man gibayad kang Smartmatic. So Smartmatic mo'y rason ngano nga.
So bottom line, Smartmatic, Gavon.
Yes.
Goes back to Smartmatic. Mr. Casiño, ikaw, sir.
Train law was created primarily to cover the expenses for infrastructure projects of the Duterte administration. Now, presently, there are other means of raising funds, ways and means, such as the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. When you come into infrastructure development, it need not exact the taxes. You would not exact the people high taxes before you're able to take the benefit of the infrastructure being developed. So when you take, once the infrastructure has been completed and finished, and that's the time that you're able to benefit from that, then and only then, you could probably start paying the loan. Now, subjecting the taxpayers, the citizens, to pay for this infrastructure is not fair, because that not only affects us, the entire country, every citizen, but it also increases prices. As you all know already, the can of sardines, kanang mga isda, kanang mga basic commodities, is already beyond reach by any common tao, that it has already practically choked us to hunger, and we're not even providing enough nutrition to even the childbearing mother. And if you go to pursue that, furthermore, childbearing parents, the reason why we have street children is because kulang sila ng nutrition. At the early childhood days, pag sila nagkaroon na sila ng proper nutrition while they're still in their pregnancy, and they're given that, by the time they're born and they reach age 6, they have already the right cognitive ability to learn and be able to be a productive member. You were saying earlier, Dante, why do when you get all these street children and they get back? Because they don't have the kind of knowledge and comprehension to think that the only way to survive is going back to the streets. But if they have big senses, because they have the proper nourishment and nutrition, then they can only be back to society.
Okay, thank you.
Attorney
Arellano?
The train law is an anti-poor revenue generating scheme. You are taxing the rich and the poor equally for this similar transaction. The rich will always have a means to recover what he pays for that tax under the train law. But the poor do not have any recourse. The rich usually are the employer. You are taxing the rich, the employer, similarly as the poor. The employer can always recover what they pay in under the train law. But the poor are helpless. That is why the poor are hardest hit by the train law. The government should repeal that. Should I be fortunate to be in the Senate, the first thing I will do is to repeal that and adopt a progressive philosophy in taxation.
Okay.
Is there anything in the train law that's good? Is there anything there that you can say, okay naman, maganda naman?
Well, pwede mo sabihin, nakaipon ka. Pero at the expense of the poor, hindi naman. Kunan mo ng mas malaki ang mayayaman dahil meron silang capacity to recover. That is the inequality of the law. So overall, it is not good rationally.
Sa madaling sabi po, mas pabor ito dun sa mga mayayaman, pero yung mga mahihirap, medyo tagilid tayo.
They do not have any recourse to recover.
Mr. Casiño, wala ka ba nakitang maganda sa train law?
Except for the money that it was able to raise, yes. But in terms of the majority of the public, no.
None. Okay. Attorney
Glenn.
Glenn.
Whatever money we raise from the train law, they will just simply be stolen by corrupt public officials. Ibayad kang Smartmatic para mo daog. Wa na gyud tay dag-anan ini katawhan mga kaigsonan.
Smartmatic
Ang
na po.
kalibot-libot na lang tadyan mo sugot ba mo? O atong tuldukan karong adlaw. Sugad karong adlaw tuldukan ni natong galibot-libot natong problema.
Okay.
Kaya ako nagastuog yugo sir ma'am. Ang tanan nga problema sa atong katawhan karon diri gyud magagikan sa eleksyon nga gitigini kasay naglimbongay pinalitay. Usbon ragoda nato makasud ang mga saktong political leaders magsilbi sa atong katawhan, di ba mausab ang dagan sa atong kinabuhi.
So just as a comment ba, sa una, wa pa'y Smartmatic, dagdag bawas ang duwa. Karon, it's really, kumbaga, kanang mas high-tech na ang tikas.
Ma'am, mo ni siya ang akong experience, ma'am. Ning daog ko sa 2007 elections, mano-manong eleksyon, mano-mano pong tikas, mabantayan sa mata. Karon kay automated na danas ilahom to suod sa makina. Bisan pag upat pa ka yung mata din ha, o kang dakpan. Di ba? So adto na ka makadakop ini kahuman nas eleksyon. Wa na human na. Natikas ka na. Cry baby na ka. So manang wala kong dagan, akong gi-fight ang Smartmatic, pero niabot na sa panahon gikapoy na gyud ko. Gusto na kong balik sa akong ginikanan sa akong pamilya. So muna, niat ko sa inyo atubangan para ipabot ang mensahe na lang ninyo.
Okay.
Sige.
Last of the questions nga pareha sa uban, no? Just to get their ideas. What's your stand on the same-sex marriage? Attorney Arellano, ikaw muna.
I am in favor of same-sex marriage.
Favor po.
Society should be able to provide a mechanism or arrangement whereby people will be able to develop themselves, making the free choice, their sexual inclination should be respected. I think it will be a more democratic arrangement if society is able to design mechanisms that will allow people to develop their own potential, including same-sex marriage.
So, are you in favor, sir?
He is. Yes, Mr. Casiño.
I have high regard and high respects for homosexuals, gays, and lesbians. In fact, some of my better students are homosexuals, gays, and lesbians. But under our Constitution, the preamble says we are guided by the principle of divine providence. And unfortunately, within that guidance, there is no such provisions in the Word of God or in Quran or in Terra that says that they allow same-sex marriage. Unless we revise that constitution, that preamble, then and only then probably we can allow it legally. But technically speaking, because that is already by the divine providence, we are guided by the divine, then we have to be subjected to those principles.
Pero sir, personally, kayo po.
Society as it is, okay lang yun. I mean, but because of the constitution,
Yeah.
we have bounded by that.
Okay.
We need to follow mga laws. Otherwise, gubot ang kalibutan dance kung what tayo moral law.
Para sinabi mo rin na there's anti-dynasty in the law. And there's dynasties.
I remember one candidate, I think that was last week, who said, if we allow same-sex marriages, mauubos po ang lahi natin. Somebody said that.
Okay.
I forgot.
Yeah, somebody said that. Anyway, Attorney Glenn, what do you say? What can you say?
Actually, ma'am, ning suod sa kong seminaryo, may gani kay wako tawgas Ginoo gisit-sitan ra ko. So nako sa inyong atubangan ron. Kung gitawag pa ko sa Ginoo, mapugos gyud og pamakak. I support this legislation to respect the rights and preferences of individual choices of people. You have to remember sa family code, the family code applies only to man and woman, di ba? So insofar as heterosexual relationships, they have adequate legal protection. Klaro ang rights and privileges sa matag sa asawa, sa bana. But pag abot sa third sex, dili siya klaro ka di man mo apply ang babae o lalaki dito. So that's why I'm supporting the legislation, if only to give them equal rights, preference in the law, klaro ang legal framework insofar as their relationship is concerned. I'm not at liberty to dictate their own choices. I'd rather support their individual choices.
Attorney Arellano wants to add something.
Well, same-sex marriage is a misnomer. It is actually a union or companionship of the same sex. The traditional understanding of marriage is between man and the woman, and that is marriage. When we allow companionship for both males and both females, we are just recognizing the sexual preference or the companionship of one with the other. And I think we should give them the full opportunity to develop this. That is companionship. Let's not be misled by the word same-sex marriage. It's companionship or union.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Another question. How do you view the decision of the Philippine administration in withdrawing from ICC? Attorney Glenn?
I have answered that question before. Ang akong bote pasabot din ni Ma'am is that I really value the independence and sovereignty of our country. If we decide, our administration decide to withdraw from the ICC, I would support it because di ko gusto nga naay Pilipino dito dadon subject to the rules and regulations of a foreign power. Every Filipino must be judged by his own peers. So, if any one of us commit crimes, we should be ready to face our peers and be judged by our own peers, our own fellow Filipinos. I don't want to submit. Di ko gusto nga na Pilipino dadon dito sa ubang nasod and they be made subject to the rules, to their judgment, because I value the independence and sovereignty of our country. So, I support the administration's decision in this regard.
Mr. Casiño?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we support also the separation of the state from, as well with the International Criminal Court, simply because, you know, we know more of our practices here, we know more of our jurisdiction here, we know more of our culture as a society that even foreign countries may not know. But then, if you need a third-party arbitration, to that extent, maybe just an opinion, but not really to decide on the affairs of our legislative or judiciary form of government. As to making that mandatory membership, whether it requires, let us examine who are the people behind the International Criminal Court. What are the bodies that created this, and what are their biases and their preferences? Whether it's going to be favoring a certain mega power outside our country, other jurisdiction, because we're talking here of globalization and neo-colonialism.
Attorney Arellano?
It is unfortunate that the administration should unilaterally withdraw from the ICC. We belong to a family of nations, and we should never fear other nations to find out, or the United Nations practically, to find out if we conform with international standards of justice. What prompted the government to immediately, the knee-jerk reaction of withdrawal is how we are conducting the drug war. I think there are certain limitations of the way we conduct. We do not have rehabilitation, we do not have sufficient employment to give to those who are victims of drugs. Drug problem is a poverty-related problem, and we should take responsibility for the poverty. Let's not withdraw from ICC.
Okay. Our Attorney Chong is still there answering the call of nature. So, okay. He's here. Okay. Next question. Tama-tama, sir. Is the current debt and transactions with China a good risk or bad risk? So, would like to answer that first. Attorney Glenn?
Sir, can you repeat the question? Sir?
Okay. Is the current debt and transactions with China a good risk or bad risk?
Honestly, sir, ang ako ramang apelyido ang Inchik.
Okay.
Huna-huna ang mga kaigsunan, pagkataon ako, obi ako makapili sa akong apelyido. Oh, pero karon nga I am of age, pwede ko mapili kung asan ako itaya akong kasing-kasing o akong dughan, di ba? So, I really don't trust the Chinese government. Klaro lang. So, I only trust Filipinos and myself. So, kung ako lang, I would not enter into debt transactions with the Chinese government. I remember the problem in, I think it was Sri Lanka. There's a port there na gipautang nila sa Chinese government ang Sri Lanka. And then, up to a point, hindi na nila mabayran, na embargo ang tibuok port for 99 years. So, kananana sa kong huna-huna, di ko musalig ani mga tawhana. So, I would rather trust the Japanese. I would rather trust the Japanese than the Chinese. Klaro-klaro lang, ha? Okay. Maulang taong tubag, sir.
Okay, Mr. Casiño, sir.
Let us examine first the terms and conditions of the debt transactions between the Chinese government and the Philippines. Maybe it's very different between China and Sri Lanka, and maybe it's different from China and the Philippines. But let us not forget, China is already building the One Belt, One Road trade. There's a global trade that they're going to fix all trade passing through this channel. Now, if we do not participate into this, and we can have the better negotiating arms, then probably we might be left behind in terms of progress. But once this has been done, because that is the main purpose of this China debt, primarily to continue the vision of coming up in a Silk Road, the One Belt, One Road, wherein all the way from China all the way to Europe to the Western countries, it's already an inevitability that we have to be part of this global community. And until we do not participate into this field, whatever the terms and conditions there may be for these debt transactions will be subject to how much will the country benefit from this transaction, rather than the debtor, but more of the creditor. Or more rather, the other way around, it's more the debtor's benefit rather than the creditor.
Okay, Attorney Arellano.
Well, I would say that it is the arrangement or the loan agreement between the China and the Philippines is very risky. Whether it is good or bad, I am not very competent yet to say. But reading loan agreements that we have entered with U.S. as a colonizing power and the loan agreements that we will enter with China, I think you will find out that is the provisions of the loan agreement are standard. So, on that respect, I am not very, very firm to say it is a bad risk or it is a good risk, but it is risky. When you are in government, you have to decide how to develop the country. Water shortage, how will you preserve water? But then, what is lacking in government is provision for taking care of our environment and climate.
Yes, yes, sir.
If we examine the type of transactions that we have with regards to foreign debt, let us also examine the kind of the foreign debt that the Philippines had with the U.S. We were subjected to the IMF rules and World Bank, and that has already aggravated our peso-dollar devaluation. And because of the terms and conditions of the IMF, the World Bank, where the Philippines was subjected to, that only furthered this, ruined our economy. That's why we cannot just technically bias our argument between the China debt transaction of the Philippines as against the U.S. debt transaction with the Philippines as well. So there are also processes. So let us examine it on both grounds on how we benefited from these types of transaction. As you very well know, before we had this EDSA one, the peso exchange rate was anywhere between 7 to 14. Now we're dealing with a 52. Not because we wanted it to, but because of the restrictions that has been subject to us by IMF and World Bank.
Okay, proceeding. Yes, you may add.
I just want to add this one. The best thing that we should adopt is in our fiscal policy. Kay kanang utang good nato gikan man sa atong budget. Ang atong budget good, we're always on deficit for a long time. Pero may good alkansi ang gobyerno, so that's why utang. I think the first thing that we should look into is how to balance our budget. Ang atong kita igo lang sa atong expenditure, so that we would have less dependency on loans, and we would be less subject to external shocks, external pressures, so that at least ang atong economy is very stable. I think we should start from there, nas Kongreso.
Okay.
Next.
What policies or programs of the present administration do you think are dangerous for the country? And what can you do about it when you become senator?
Maybe we can start with Attorney Arellano.
If there's any, do you
Sure.
think there's any program or policy that's dangerous? Kung wala naman, then fine.
I think the policy of the government of tarificating rice imports is adverse to the development of agriculture. By opening our country to unbridled imports of rice, you are killing our agricultural industry. What we really need is to develop our rice production. I think the government really fell short when it distributed individually rice, the land engaged in rice production, because they have already destroyed the productivity of land. They should have encouraged agricultural cooperative, maintaining the land and the rice production.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Casiño?
Rice tarification is also not a good policy because it also marginalizes our farmers. It lifts up the minimum quota to import, subject to tarification. But of course, until our customs is not yet efficient, it could be a cause for smuggling. And when you bring in cheap imports of rice and it will not be subject to the kind of high tariffs they were exacted to, then it will also marginalize our farmers. What we need to do is strengthen the yield of our agricultural sector, provide new types of variety, promote organic farming that can generate better income for our farmers. And to us in KDP, we feel that agro-industrialization is the key to developing our country. It will be sustainable and it will be participatory for all inclusive, including even in the fishery sectors as well.
Okay. Attorney Glenn.
Sir, when I went to Nueva Ecija, ning baba dyan ko sa mga barangay, sa mga mag-uuma, ang ilag yung reklamo ang rice tarification, kaya apektado gyud taon sila kayo. So ning saad ko nila kung inyo kong saligan, I will work towards protection sa atong mga mag-uuma, kay reklamo gyud sila ning rice tarification. So I think because this is a policy of the government, back to your question, ma'am, I agree based on my pagkikimamat sa atong mga mag-uuma. But then there's another issue, again, mobalik yugos ko milik og Smartmatic. This is the most insidious. While it is not the policy of the administration, kay independent constitutional body ang Commission on Elections, this is the most insidious, the clearest present danger sa ato ang nasod karon. Kung mapildi gani kini karong eleksyon, makatikas na po gani ni sila, wa nagyud tay dag-anan. Ang tag-iya ni himuan na lang Republic of Smartmatic.
Okay, talking about Smartmatic, I noticed in at least both your opening statements, no, in yours, sir, you want to oust Smartmatic. How will you do that when you become senator?
Well, we've been attending to so many joint congressional oversight committee. Before my joining the Katipunan Democratic Filipino, I was with the Philippine Communist Society, and we were already critical about having our election system done with a foreigner because it's already unconstitutional. And for all the evidences that have been presented to the Joint Congressional Oversight, they should already come up with a recommendation. Under the Republic Act 9369, the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee should decide whether they have to continually use this technology or not. However, in the past 3 Congresses, from 2010, 2013, and 2016, all those who chaired us never came up with a recommendation to stop Smartmatic and instead pursue using it because they can be the same chairman of this Joint Congressional Oversight Committee are the same beneficiaries. They're the ones that pay off Smartmatic. They're the ones that pay off some officials in Comelec so that they will win in the Senate and they will protect their interests. And simply because of that, that's how they stand for.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Attorney
Ma'am,
Chong.
sir, the first thing that we need to do is we have to kick Smartmatic out. No ifs, no buts. But how do we replace it? We replace it with a hybrid election system. Unsa man ang hybrid election system? instead na 800 ang kada presinto nga botante, balik ta sa daan 200 lang. So 200 lang ang botante bawat 200 lang ang botante kada presinto. Ang atong pagbotar shade gihapon. Pero kinahanglan ihapon nato ang balota at tubangan sa publiko. So 200 lang ang botante kada presinto, mag-shading ta, magsugod ang eleksyon alas 6 buntag, pahuman ang eleksyon alas 10 buntag. Alas 10 buntag, magsugod na tag-ihap nga napay adlaw. Kay mag-ihap ganitas gabi, mag-brown out na. So kana, kay di man mag-brown out inig adlaw, sigurado way makatikas. So alas 10, sugod na, hangtod alas 5. Alas 5 sapon, naanay tinuod nga ihap nga nakita sa katawhan nga boto. Paghaman sa alas 5, transmit automatically. So pagkagabi, klaro ang resulta. Wanay manikas kay naihap na dito sa presinto. Klaro, di ka makatikas via transmission, kay di ay klarong pag-ihap dito sa presinto. Maunay importante na ihap na sabtan sa katawhan kung giunsa pag-ihap ang ilang boto. Wa na gyud makatikas mo na itong buhaton siya.
Napa ba ito kakawelek dire? Wala na no?
Ako lang question ba?
Ning layas na.
Nakiba ang gobyerno anino nga naitikas sa Smartmatic. Obviously.
Oh, of
They know.
course.
Ano ilang ipadayon?
Ma'am, ingon ani ang tubag. Under the law, ang Republic Act 9369, within 12 months after the elections, the conduct of the last election, dapat may hearing na for comprehensive review of the automated election system used in the previous election. So dapat, usa ka tuig human ang eleksyon, atong 2016, dapat 2017, nag-hearing na para ipagawas og unsa man gani ang mga baho nga atong nakita. Ma'am, sir, 2010, 2013, 2016, di gyud na mag-hearing sa 12 ka tuig, 12 ka buwan. Adto na mag-hearing, napulo na lang kabuwan sa sunod eleksyon. Like what happened in 2016, nag-hearing mi July 31, 2018, 9 months to the next election. Pag bugawas na gani ang ebidensya sa tikas, yan na nanggawas ng ebidensya. Ang tubag din sa COMELEC og Smartmatic o sa Senado, wa nay time, sunod na lang, Smartmatic lang una takaron. So maurag gyapon na ilang tubag atong 2010, 2013, 2016, di na ta motugot na mga kaigsunan. Gibinuangan ra gyud ta.
Secretary Gitonto.
Gitonto ra gyud ta.
Yes, Mr. Casiño.
In 2003, COMELEC contracted Mega Pacific under Republic Act 8436. The members of the advisory council should be from the Philippine Road Society, IT Foundation Philippines, of which yours truly has been a ad hoc chairman. And at that time, we saw the development with the respect to the progress with the automation being prepared by Mega Pacific. A petitioner from the IT Foundation Philippines petitioned against that, and then the Supreme Court nullified the contract in January of 2004, and yet with the limited time, COMELEC was able to revert back to manual. So it's no excuse that COMELEC would say there is no time. But at that time, we were monitoring because somehow the PCS and the ITFP went part ways. PCS supported the COMELEC while ITFP went against COMELEC. We were able to see that there is a way to develop it. So even in that decision, COMELEC can still revert back to manual.
Okay.
If I may just add.
Yes.
So far up to today, up to 2018, 33 na ang kaso nga na-file sa COMELEC Smartmatic o PPCRV. Apil ang PPCRV diyan ni ma'am. COMELEC Smartmatic PPCRV, 33 na ang ilang kaso tanan. 18 ka petitions ang naa sa Korte Suprema, 4 ana personal nga petition nako. Ang resibo nakadaog mi. Bagong Bayan versus COMELEC Smartmatic. Ang resource speaker, ang petitioner si Senator Richard Gordon, ang resource speaker niya dito sa Korte Suprema, si Glenn Chong. Ako ning atubang sa 15 ka hurado, justices sa Supreme Court, daog mi. Vote 13, pabor na 0, pabor sa COMELEC Smartmatic. Mo nang naamoy resibo. Pagkahuman, gitangtang ang clustered precinct number sa COMELEC aron di mo matrace ang resibo sa balota. Maayok yung gayong katikasaning to COMELEC o Smartmatic.
Okay, here's fresh from the pan nga question. Latest ni siya nga naaka-i-share Attorney Arellano?
Yes. I am kindergarten in the use of computers, but one of our colleagues suggested that let us adopt another method, and he suggested Richard from Cebu voting machine. So we will kick out Smartmatic.
Oh.
Okay. Anyways, kani siya, bago kani siya nga issue. Pero I think pila pa rin kaadlaw. What can you say about President Duterte's economic advisor being linked to drug syndicates?
Attorney Arellano first.
What can you say about President Duterte's economic advisor being linked to the drug syndicates? Drug syndicates.
I do not have enough information to say that the charge is correct or has basis. What I know is that there are exchanges of accusations, and this accusation was done in the middle of charges and counter charges. I think we should condemn if there is really an economic manager involved in drugs. The reality is the Philippines is almost a narco state. There is the list is very revealing, but at that charge, I do not have enough information to say it is valid or not.
We appreciate your answer, sir.
Mr. Casiño.
In the business of illegal drug trade, it's not far that they have already penetrated the different halls of the agencies against drugs like PDEA, Department of Justice, NBA, because for sure they are also in the payroll of the drug lords. So determining and publishing such and such personalities to be connected to the drug trade, they should have kept this confidential first, and let establish the fact that until they already establish the fact the relationship between the drug lords and these government officials, then and only then can they make that public. Even up to now, we don't even know the personality behind this syndicate, whether and what nationality there may be. Are they Chinese? Are they Thais? Are they Mexicans? These are all speculation. Until and only then, but we can learn from the experience of Mexico and Colombia, wherein personalities like El Chapo and Pablo Escobar have made known publicly. We should have the same thing done here.
Okay, Attorney Glenn.
Sir, ma'am, when money talks, even angels listen. So, what I mean is that anybody can be accused of this connection, but then I do not have personal knowledge, and neither is my knowledge sufficient to form a reasonable conclusion or opinion. So, ang ako lang is manawagan lang ko na kung naamagani akusasyon atong imbestigaran ng tininuod kay sa ako pagikaingon kung ang kwarta mo istorya bisan anghel maminaw. So, pero dirita sa drug lords, ma'am, sir, ang hakog yung gikadlukan kung ang drug lords makapalit og daghang congressman, governor, mayor sa Comelec og Smartmatic na tindahan. Mao gini akong gikadlukan mga kaigsunan. Open ang tindahan sa Comelec og Smartmatic, ang may kwarta ang drug lords. So, mas daghang congressman, governor, mayor ang mapalit. Napagani baligya nga layaway plan, 100,000 para sa konsehal, 20 months to pay. Diyos ko mio, por santo.
How 20 months to pay?
Yes, sir. Ako na ni siyang gisuwat, sir, sa Facebook, sir, under my name, Glenn Chong. Sa akong Facebook, it's Glenn Chong. I posted this a few months before the 2016 elections na ditong presyo sa senator, congressman, governor, mayor, nya layaway plan. 100,000 per month, 20 months to pay para sa konsihal. Then sa kabilang side, terms and conditions of sale, 50% upon 50% down payment, 50% upon proclamation. Na po dito, katawa lang mo pero tinuod ni.
Grabe.
Naa dito ang suki card. Katubitang nagbayad na noong 2010, bayad na po sila 2013, 2016, na sila suki card. Na po sila wholesale discount card. Kanibitang tibuok ang mapilde. Nahitabo na. Ako sa ning gisuwat sa Facebook. Sa Puerto Princesa City sa 2016 elections, ang congressman, ang mayor, ang vice mayor, o napulo ka konsehal, usara ka grupo ang modaog, ang tibuok grupo sa Pikas Pilde. Pag abot sa eleksyon, Pilde ang tibuok grupo, daog ang Pikas grupo, silang tanan, 13-0. Ay, kuging na, may crystal ball ko. So may discount, may wholesale discount card to.
Mura mas kahilakwan ng hitabo eh.
So that's why, sir, ma'am,
yeah.
I challenge the Comelec and Smartmatic, face me publicly.
Incidentally,
That is so sad, no?
ang atong Comelec officer wala na, nilakaw na si Attorney Guhildi. He was here a while ago, but he didn't
Sir,
stay
in
long.
fairness, sir, dili siya.
Yes,
dili
I
si
know.
attorney.
Yes.
Katong tuwa dito naglingkod
Dito
sa
sa taas.
opisina sa Manila.
Sa taas.
Sir, just for your information, ang COMELEC head office naas Bukana, Ganghaan sa barangay 666 sa Metro Manila.
Okay. By the
Although
way,
actually, in 2016, Dante, there was one person, I mean, who ran for senator. Di lang ko i-mention, ingon gid siya nga, gi-offeran ko no siya 10 pesos per name.
per name.
Per name,
Yeah.
per kuan ba? 10 pesos ko no. O gibalibara niya because he wanted people to vote for him. Honestly, good ba?
So, ganun
And
ka,
napildi siya.
ganun ka talamak, ha?
Anyways,
Vote buying?
yes, not a,
Okay, we advise the audience to ask questions, and all unanswered question anyway will be posted sa Mega Cebu Candidates Facebook page. But we have one video question, so be sure the audio is okay. All right, because we had a bad experience the last time. You roll the VTR. Okay, let's roll the question.
Nabantayan sa namo na kanang way continuity sa program sa kada administrasyon, no? So kung sa may mahimo nimo, kung ikaw nabutang sa pwesto, imo bang ipadayon ang mga maayong mga programa o balaod, or magbangag sa kag imong kaugalingon para lang mailhan ka?
Okay, ang subtitle
no,
Cebuano.
ang ako ba, Bisaya na ang gisulti, ang subtitle Bisaya lagi
So,
hapon.
adult
In
na lang.
English ta to.
Okay, anyway, for the sake of Attorney Arellano who doesn't understand Cebuano, si Attorney kasi okay lang sir, no? And si Attorney Glenn. But sir, yung tanong po kanina, halimbawa, pag nanalo siya at yung project nung former administration na nasimulan, kasi hindi niya yung project, so hindi niya itutuloy at maggagawa siya ng bago. So, ano hong reaction niyo doon? Or itutuloy niyo ba kung sakaling may nasimula na yung dati? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Itutuloy ko. Dahil ang naging problema dito sa Pilipinas Development Program, tuwing administration, umpisa ng project. Ang tingin ko, ipagpapatuloy at i-correct na lang yung mga pagkukulang. Kaya kung meron sanang may pagpapatuloy yung federalismo, ay merong party program na i-emphasize. Pero sa ngayon, kung bagong administration, bagong programa, so putol-putol. So, hindi continuous ang development. Kaya sabi ko, lalong-lalo na yung development program ng Mega Cebu. Kung ibang administration ang papalit, di bagong program. So, discontinued. So, ang tingin ko, ipagpapatuloy ko yan, pero merong mga revisions sa mga mali.
Thank you. Mr. Casiño?
There are good projects and there are bad projects. And there's have to be a mechanism to assess which projects are good and which are bad. So there's a performance monitoring, it's a performance assessment. And given those that are really good, then they should be continued. And there is a commitment by budget. In the budget system, you call it a continuing appropriations law. So if they can see that there's a need to continue the project, regardless of who is the administration, that project must go on until it finishes. Now, if there are bad projects, there's going to be an independent party, like a COA or something, to determine whether this is not really reaping the benefit it was originally designed for. Then that kind of project need not be continued.
All right.
Attorney Glenn?
Sir, ma'am, I have my experience in this, no? Kato akong school bus system, after I left, ang tulo ka bus gihulog sa bangin,
Huh?
Uy.
ang upat gisunog, and then this was discontinued pagkahuman ako. Sakit yung kay katusong dughan. Nagpadagan sa mobile clinic na ako'y 32 doctors, dentists, nurses. Every day ko nag-medical mission, Mondays to Fridays. Pagkahuman ako sa pwesto, gibili na lang ako mobile clinic des Calzada na I have pictures to show you. The typical example here, Cebu International Convention Center. Tanawa na kung saan na inaong 700 million ang atong gibutang din ha. Karon, unsa naman na, kalag na lang. So ang akong buhaton is to kining regional development councils gamiton nako as a means to prioritize projects that ma-ensure ang continuity sa next administration nga naay penalty kung di nila sundon ang recommendations sa regional development council. That's one way.
Sir, mo segue lang ko into the Mega Cebu program. I'm pretty sure you're aware of it because you were given reading materials about Mega Cebu. When you become senator, sir, are you going to support the program?
Yes, of course. I would like to see where I can help much in making that a reality. Kay bao ko ang problema na din traffic. That's one. Because kaniadto gikan sa mong balay des Banawa padong sa SM 20 minutes ra na ma'am. Karon sobra na usa ka oras. So I think that's the biggest problem we're facing today. Remember, traffic pulls down our economy. The more wastage we have in traffic, the more economic opportunity is lost. Now, if we want Cebu to be an engine for growth, we have to invest on public infrastructure. We have to develop it. Pagkanamit ang pag-develop is kinatibukan, like Mega Cebu. Dili kanang siya diri, iya, kini diri, iya, ang gawas chapsuy. So we must have a master plan for the entire Cebu province.
Thank you. What about you, Sir Casiño?
There is what you call a national land use plan that should be subjected to what classification each area will be developed for. And you have to coincide that with the urban planning. Now, one of the main thrusts here with Mega Cebu is probably build smart cities. When you talk about smart cities, you talk about technology, you talk about CCTV camera and sensors that can intelligently run. You don't need humans to do the traffic, and they can determine, in terms of using analytics, the big data, it can already determine on when would the traffic light will be on, so that all the flow would be moving forward faster, just like what you're doing in Singapore. Cebu is such a small area that can be managed by an advanced technology that you need not really create, it's not really even rocket science. All you have to do is get the best minds and then learn from how Singapore is doing it, and probably we can even do it even here better than Singapore.
Okay, sir.
Sir Arellano. The Mega
Yes,
Cebu,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
In fact, I should congratulate the leadership of Cebu for having planned a development program. It is presumptuous for me if I would say I will make suggestions. The only thing I can say is it should be people-centered, that in 2050, when we shall be covering 6 million voters, that majority of the people should benefit from the fruits of this development program. There is one suggestion I would say, that the development program as framed now can best be effected if the form of government is federal informed, because the final authority, the final approval will rest upon the regional federated states. The implementation will be dependent on Cebu, not on the national.
Yes, Attorney Glenn.
Sir, tapos na si sir. Nalang ko idugang gamay ha. Nag-mention si Toti Casiño og Smart City. Beware, kay na ba Smart City product si Smartmatic.
Okay, we have a question from the audience. We have Miss...
May I rebut to that?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
When we say smart city in terms of information technology, we're referring to analytics. We're referring to big data. We're talking about predictive. I mean, in my profession as an IT professional, it's nothing to do with Smartmatic. Of course, we're against Smartmatic.
Joke lang yung sa kanya.
Yeah, I know. But no, the thing is, we want progress. If we do not have this technology, we will not be moving forward. We'll be regressing. We are in the crossroad whether we're going to progress or regress. Vietnam is now being positioned to be the next site of Formula One by 2020.
Yes.
All right. So Vietnam is past leaving us behind.
Yes.
We're not ready. They already surpassed us. Before we were ahead of Vietnam. Now Vietnam is already ahead of us. They're putting a racetrack in Hanoi, in the main city of Hanoi.
Actually,
Formula One with all the technology they have there.
we are talking about smart city in Mega Cebu.
Yes, ma'am, but
Yes.
I'll just warn you, don't buy it from Smartmatic. My God.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we have question from Miss Angie Mata of the National Confederation of Transport Workers. Ms. Mata.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon pa. I would just like to ask, are you aware of the PUB modernization program of the government? The PUB modernization
PUB.
program.
Public
PUV.
Utility
Vehicle
Vehicle
modernization.
Program.
Okay
Yes,
po.
ma'am.
Okay. So ito po yung mga stance namin, no. Actually, we are not against the modernization and of the government, and also maitutulong din ito sa climate change natin, di ba po? Pero yung kuan lang, ang proseso po, paano? Kasi po, presently, ayaw nila yung mausok, di ba po? So why is it that we're still importing surplus engines?
Surplus engines.
Bakit tayo nag-i-import pa ng surplus
Surplus
engines?
engines.
Yes, and given we are all to comply the Euro 4 engines. That's one. Okay, number two. We are in our present situation, Ron, we are all to create cooperatives, consortia, and corporation. While doing that why is it that the LTFRB is issuing already the new CPCs? And they are visible now, the beep and everything. While they said that it caused traffic, PUJ caused traffic. But a survey says that the private vehicle is more than the PUB, the utility vehicle. And given so, they are now issuing these beep franchises. So, kuha na kayo siya, kanang congested na kayo. Okay, number 3. How can you address the displacement of the small drivers and operators po? Thank you.
It all boils down to the PUV modernization program.
3 questions yun actually.
Oo. Yes,
Yeah.
Sir Casiño.
I'll go from your third question back to the first. No. The third question addresses the stakeholders, which are the operators and the drivers. And you need to modernize, definitely, because it's pollution and everywhere. And then there's this importation of used engine. The idea here is to include them in the modernization, wherein you can encourage the operators and the drivers to be a member of a cooperative. Now, as a cooperative, then they have a consortium, then you have a master plan on how this modernized mass transport system would work on an electrical jeep, for example. And then having electric jeep with all the GPS and all the sensors in there, you can practically track it. That's what I mean by a smart city. So that you can know the designated areas, and then with the frequency, using the technology of the beep, but apply it on a public, not by the private, but the public, then you can determine how many passengers are being loaded and unloaded in every area. So predictably, the system will determine when and where you will start loading and unloading the area. So that becomes part of the design of the system. Now, it has to be ongoing until you gather this information, and then you'll be able to determine, and then using electric cars, electric jeeps, and then the financing for this electric jeep should even be gone through a cooperative system. Okay, so was I able to answer the question?
My question is that, how can we address that displacement? But currently, what is happening now is we still are establishing our cooperative, and the new CPCs are already out. There's somebody operating already.
The new
franchises po. For the operation of this beep, jeep, and everything. So, how, if in the event, hindi na kami mabigyan ng prangkisa, eto na sila nag-exist. So, paano na yung displacement ng small time? Yun po yung ko. If you will be luckily,
as a senator,
what will you do to address our concerns?
In the first place, that's a wrong policy ginagawa ng LTFRB, issuing new franchises. That's wrong. I have to suspend that if I were in the Senate. First and foremost, suspend that, review, and then create it to be more inclusive in development. That's why, pag hindi siya inclusive of all the stakeholders, like the drivers, operators, scratch that project, and then find out who the person is behind it, because he could be in cahoots with another private corporation. So they have to eliminate that. It's got to be pro-poor, it's got to be a pro-consumer, it's got to be pro-commuter as well. Not just a few individualists that will just benefit from that. That's why we're here to dismantle oligarchs' rule.
Okay.
Glenn.
Ma'am, you have 3 questions that I must answer in 1 minute.
No, you may use more time, sir.
So, that's 20 seconds per question. Anyways, mao ni ang akong 4th legislative agenda. Akong gipirmahan ang akong promise. Just like before, ning dagan ko, akong saan, akong gibutang og checkbox. And then akong gipirmahan to show that it is a social contract insofar as I am concerned. Ang upat ingon ko nga, dili ko kay bawag unsay problema sa tanang tao, sa tanang sektor. Ang akong mahimo is magahin kog adlaw sa akong kada semana nga nagsilbi ko, 3 ka adlaw. Patawag na ako mga sectoral leaders, stakeholders, let's sit down. Unsa may inyong problema? Unsa may inyong suggested solution? Then ako na'y bahala sa inyo dito sa Senado. Ako lang maprotektaran ang inyong interest. In the same way, I make that promise to you today. Na akong pirmahan, tungod kay di ko kay bawag unsay problema ninyong tanan. Pero kanang imong giingon, ma'am, nga nag-issue na sila og prangkisa, samtang kamo nagporma pa mo diri or cooperatives. I think that's really foul. That's really foul. Nang hatag na sila prangkisa diri, kamo gilisod-lisod pa mo diri speakers. I think that should be investigated, and that's something we should talk. Kung imo kong saligan o mudaog, ang katong ikatulo nimong pangutana, ma'am, unsa man ang ma-displaced. Pareho sa nasa kong tubag sa atong senior citizens na dito ko stiin, argi pangutana ko. Ug mo-retire na ko, wala ko'y trabaho, unsa may mong mahimo para nako? Akong tubag, unsa may mong gusto matrabaho ka o ako ang tudluan aron nahimo kang negosyante? What would you prefer? Magtrabaho ka para suban, or I will teach you how to make money on your own way. You own your time. So that's what I am thinking about. Create an agency that will focus on displaced workers and senior citizens na matagaan sila og sufficient knowledge and capital aron sila mismo magpadagan sa ilang negosyo, makatabang pa mo sa tong ekonomiya faster and better.
Okay.
Thank you. Attorney Arellano.
I think the problem of the transport workers does not require legislation. It is adequate planning that is the answer. In Manila, the modernization of the jeepney transport has been suspended, an indication that there was inadequate preparation. The need for a mass transport to make easy the transport and avoid tremendous loss of man-hours is critical to our economy. Therefore, I think the problem is not legislation. It is the problem of adequate economic planning in the executive department of our government. I agree with you and I support your move to have protested. We organized Piston in Manila. We are the one organized. And they resisted the modernization because the workers will be left without work, without help. And that is an indication it was inadequately prepared. If you will ask the price of the modern jeep that they have created, it is very, very prohibitive. That is why I think it is my honest opinion that it is adequate planning, not legislation, that you need.
Okay. Another question here from the audience. Do you think it is right for the police or the LG or Malacanang to release at this time the names of suspected narco politicians, or is this just black propaganda? Let's start with Attorney Glenn.
For me, mas maayo pang makaibaw ang katauhan kung kinsa ni mga personalidad. Well, assuming, and this is based on that assumption nga, sakto ang information sa kapulisan, sa local government, or sa Malacanang gigipagawas. But it is better that the public is warned kung kinsa ning mga tawhana ang nagsuporta sa drug lords o na maligya, nagnegosyo, because drug trafficking, the drug problem is very, very serious. Di yun nato pwede ni siya ibaliwala. It's a very serious problem and we should work together. Dili ta mo lambo isip o sa kanasod kung katunga sa atong populasyon or 1/3 sa atong population mga murag sumbi nga gikontrol sa droga. So if there's a way to stop them from winning the elections, I would support that measure. But again, I will go back to COMELEC and Smartmatic. tuad didto ang dakong peligro sa atong katawhan. Sanglit ang akong panawagan sa atong katawhan, magkahiusa ta na di gyud ta matikasan karong eleksyon na aron matangtang ning mga tikasan sa atong katawhan, sa atong nasod.
Sir Casiño?
It's a catch-22, damn if you do, damn if you don't. We'll never know whether the one that has been put there was really guilty or innocent. Because remember, in this illegal drug trade, there are some who are really honest and their name is put there because the one who is really behind the control of the drug trade wants that person to be disenfranchised. So what protection do we have for the innocent? But then in what way do we know whether the guilty party? So yes, we need that list and know how it can be determined who is innocent and who is guilty. So it's very risky. But probably having a second list, and a third list, and a fourth list, probably that will also come up with a summary that yes, this person is highly suspected as connected to the drug trade. But if this person is being implied or which is just putting there on the list because they want to disenfranchise this innocent person, that poor person has been a victim of black propaganda, so that if he's really running and is being honest, the one that's really ruling that community or that town that's really drug lord are not protected.
Okay, so we can never really tell.
You can never really tell.
Attorney Arellano?
There is a message on the part of the administration when it released the list of government officials, public officials who are connected with the drug trade. I think that is the basic consideration. Considering, however, that there is no declaration this guy is guilty or not, and he has the full opportunity to defend himself, that is the positive point. The adverse is it might have prejudiced his chances of winning. But if he is clean, I think he will have a good fight. The message is, let us be careful in choosing our government officials because the drug problem is getting worse. And I think it should be the responsibility of everybody to find out whether the candidates are suspicious or not in their activities. So the message is there.
Right.
I support the
Thank you, sir.
message.
Okay. This is the last question, unless there's a last from the audience, but from us here. Has there been any fake news about you that you would like to correct in this forum?
Attorney Glenn.
Okay, sir. Two. First is there was a fake news that I was killed 3 days ago. Obviously, I'm not because I'm still alive. Na ako sinyong atubangan karon. But the other fake news is the one peddled by Rappler. Ingon sila abogado ko ni Bongbong Marcos. At in truth, I am not. Wako'y gidawat nga bisag piso gikan kang Bongbong Marcos with respect to the issue of election fraud. It just happened, mga kaigsunan. On the night na nag-election ko in 2010, my re-election, I was ahead by 2% of the votes cast. Bongbong Marcos was by 2% of the votes cast. I was overtaken the next day at 4:46 in the morning. Bongbong Marcos was overtaken at 3:06 the next day. I finally lost 0.5%. Bongbong Marcos lost by 0.5%. The only difference, ang ako 2010, si Bongbong Marcos 2016. 6 years later, the common denominator is Smartmatic. So therefore, ang akong tanan gisulti, obviously, pareho mo resound sa gisulti ni Bongbong Marcos. But it does not mean na abogado ko ni Bongbong Marcos. Nagsulti lang ko sa akong gikagian na experience because that is my experience, which the COMELEC was never able to disprove.
All right. Sir Casiño.
Well, my namesake, because I'm a Casiño, they think I'm Teddy Casiño. Teddy Casiño's family is from Lucban, Quezon. My father is from Taguluan, Misamis Oriental. Teddy Casiño's clan, we might have the same DNA, but somehow they migrated there and they live there. And he is a leftist or a communist. I'm a revisionist. So we have two different. And the other one, similar to what Glenn is saying, that because of the testimony that I said in the Senate, regarding the cheating of Smartmatic favored the time the election of the vice presidential contest favored Bongbong Marcos, and I've been said that I am a puppet of Bongbong. I am a certified follower, loyalist. Neither in the Philippine society is apolitical and non-partisan. We only provide information what is truth, what is right in terms of the practice of the use of information technology in industry. That's what we are. So people can prejudge us as being a Marcos loyalist, but because of our testimony favoring one candidate, we have been branded as such. We are not.
Kayo po, sir, Attorney Arellano. May fake news po ba?
So far, no fake news has been peddled against me from government or non-government entities. Probably I'm still a small fish and they cannot see yet. So up to this time, no fake news.
Okay, thank you. All right, there you have it. At this point now, sir, we'll give you a chance to give your closing statements for 3 minutes. Yes, you may, sir.
Yeah.
But we will start with Attorney Glenn. 3 minutes.
Mga kaigsunan, ang gahom na mabag-o nato ang dagan sa atong tagsa-tagsa kikinabuhi, anaa sa atong tagsa-tagsa kakamot. Naa sa inyong kamot ang politikal nga gagamhanan, mabag-o ang dagan sa atong tagsa-tagsa kikinabuhi. Kung sakto ang atong pagpili, kitang tanan bulahan, dili ba? Pero kung sayop sa ang atong pagpili, kitang pong tanan padong sperdisyon, pantay-pantay ta. Pero kung tikason gani ang atong pagpili, wag yun tayo dag-anan. Mo nang gabalik-balik yun ko sa akong mensahe, akong gihagit ang komile kong Smartmatic, at ubang nga ragog ko ninyo. Ako pang gihagit sila kausa, ato tas Philippine Arena. Inyo tanan ang audience, ako lang usa. Ato bangon mo na ako, magdebate ta. Ipakita nga way tikas, ako ipakita na akong naay tikas. Siyam katuig kung nakigbisog kaninyo ning kamang sa yuta, wag gani mo kay bao, pero wag gyud ko nila maguba, wag ko nila mapalit, wag ko nila makonsabo, wag sad ko nila mahadlok pagpatay nila kang Richard Santillan. Ako na ning gisulti, ang presyo 150 million. Ang presyo pagpatay kang Richard Santillan, 150 million. Baryara na sa ilaha. Baryara na. Kaya nila. Para lang hadlokon ko, pero gusto na ako ipakita nila. Dili ko mo surrender ninyo. Dili ko mo luhod sa inyo. Mas bililhon pa para kanako ang katawhang Pilipino o ang akong nasod. Dili na nako mapaabot ang akong mensahe sa tanan. Hangyo lang nako, nami DVD, na adinhi ang tanan. Kumutanaw mo diyan, sigurado mo tulog yun inyong luha. Kung maabot man ganini sa inyong kamot, kung pwede lang ipasa pagkahuman, para moabot yun sa atong katawhan sa barangay, ang atong iso, unsay akong gibarugan para kaninyo. Hagyo lang nako ninyo. Kung pwede lang, mahimo mo na akong mga kamot, na maabot ang atong mga botante, o malamano nato, nga di na nako mahimo, kay usa lang ko katao. Kung mahimo lang, nga mahimo mo na akong mga tiil, aron maabot ang mga lugar, na di na nako maabot kay layo kayo ug ako ra mag-inusara. Mahimo lang na ang inyong tingog, ang inyong sulti moabot ngadto sa itong mga kaigsuunan na di na nako maabot kay usa lang ko, di na ako kaya. Ang ako lang hangyo ninyo kung pwede, anaa mo sa akong kiliran, anaa mo sa akong likuran, para atong isulong ang atong nasod, ipaglaban ang atong nasod, mudaog para sa kinabukasan sa atong mga kabataan, para gini sa atong mga kabataan, di ni para na akong tanan. Hangyo lang ko ninyo, sa ligyo ko kausa, ipakita na ko ninyo, wa mo magsayop kang glansyong, ug di gyud mo masayop, suklian ko kamo og tinunod anay na pagserbisyo. Daghang salamat.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Glenn Chong.
Sir.
Arita ni Mr. Casiño.
The KDP was created mostly by seniors. Our chairman, Butch Valdez, is age 71. Our president, Don Ramon Pedrosa, is age 89. Yours truly is 61. And we see that, as far as we're concerned, we saw the difference of the governments that we have been. And we see that the next generation will have a difficult future. And our trust that we created these parties, not for our benefit, for the benefit of the future generation. The three platform government or pre-campaign, number one, stop electoral fraud, out Smartmatic, cost the life of Glenn Chong's bodyguard. Richard Santillan. And we see how serious this is. Our second campaign, to pursue the perpetrators of Deng Bangsha, because we know that the president used this money for the 2016 election to almost genocidal, victimizing a lot of our youth. And the third one is we would like to dismantle the control of the oligarchs. You can know the owners of the telecom companies, electric companies, water utilities are no more than 5 families. And the rest of the world, the rest of the country are suffering because they can control and they dictate the prices. We have new ideas. For example, on gasoline, how can we deter the price increases? Why don't we come up with a policy to have a strategic oil reserve so that in the times of need, when the price of oil is the lowest, we can buy so much so that when the price of oil goes up, we won't be gravely affected and the price of basic commodities will not go up. When we are in need of water, why don't we build dams? Why don't we build cisterns so that when we have plenty of water during rainfall, we can store this water so that at the time that there is drought, we can still supply our agricultural sector in our household with sufficient water supply. How come these have never been planned in the past 33 years since EDSA 1? Marcos had a long-term plan. I am not a Marcos loyalist. I was an anti-Marcos during my youth. But when we see the differences between the policy of that administration and this administration, we saw the differences of that direction. And unfortunately, it's sad to say that we are reaping the ill effects of this present administration. As you can see, we're trying to compete, three-year term. Everybody wants to win the election. Now they got this way to win the election through automation using Smartmatic. And to us, we could probably choose to retire and live with a better quality of life. But we see that what we're fighting for is not ours, it's for the next generation. And we would like to leave behind a system that we know the next generation will be able to benefit. 2030 and 2050, there will be a huge shortage of middle managers in the first world countries. That is where we can stake our chance to be globally competitive by building our youth to be globally competitive, give them the necessary skill sets, and able to meet the demands of the industry. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Attorney Arellano po.
It is a paradox that while the economy continues to grow, majority of our people's lives progressively declines. The reason for that, to Katipunan Party, is that there is heavy concentration of wealth and unequal access to that economy or the Philippine world is effectively controlled the legislative government. I join